But it's not cheating.
Obviously you were cheating, and you can't just come to today. I want you. Oh, you already know who you are going. You were dating that person already. Your eyes were busy wandering.
I don't know what the future holds. Maybe I'm already married to somebody. You don't know. We must go check in Home Affairs. Maybe I have 3-4 wives. No, like jokes aside, guys. Nagi Shapu. I don't want to marry a second wife. I'm good. I'm not even like, my pocket doesn't allow me to marry a second wife. My pocket does not. With me, it's either all or nothing. I give you my all. I give you everything. I make you happy. That's it. If I'm gonna bring in another lady, I can't afford to bring in a second lady into this thing. No.
Imagine we'll be sitting, the three of us here.
No, because
YouTube
why would she
channel.
be here?
She wouldn't come to my house.
No, she will just come to visit. But now, like, don't you think she's supposed to be at her house?
Yeah, she can't come live in my house.
No, she won't.
Yeah,
You see, you're missing the whole thing. If my pocket agrees, I will buy her her own house, buy her her own cars and whatnot. She'll be there, you'll be here.
Yes.
But the situation within my heart says no. Even if I'm a billionaire tomorrow, this one is a no.
Just know me, I'm also not agreeing.
For now, you're not agreeing.
Not for now, forever.
You're not agreeing forever.
I'm not agreeing.
So you don't want me to marry a second wife? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So what if I want 5 kids?
You told me when I want a small family.
No. Don't get me wrong. We're not talking about you and I here.
Yeah. I said, no, I don't agree to polygamy.
My nigga.
And then you say if you want 5 kids, you say,
My
from
nigga.
the onset when we talk, I was even the one who said I
We
want 5
are not
kids.
talking about you and I. We are
you
talking
didn't want
about growing the family.
You've got boys. They grow your name.
What if they were girls?
But they're boys.
Question is, what if they were girls?
Then we're gonna try for
For me, 2 is enough. I don't want more than 2.
Okay.
So that concurs that I don't want
a second wife.
Even if my boys were girls, I'd still be fine. I wouldn't want but I would want a baby.
Yeah, but let the kids come from the men.
Hey, we could adopt a child, Omishima.
Oh.
Yes, we could adopt one, Omishima. If they all come out as girls, we adopt. What do we do then? Or do I go and try with the second wife? I'm asking. Again, we are working on today.
No.
What makes you to think these people want to marry second wives?
It's definitely the fact of growing the family.
Well, that one is a fact.
That's
a given fact.
Number one, I think.
Yeah, no, that one
in
is
all the men, why they want to grow the family. And I concur with your other reason of if the woman is not treating the guy right? Mm-hmm. And then he finds comfort in someone else.
And then they want to make it official.
Right? But I feel like they must talk first. Like, go to therapy,
Therapy.
If the person doesn't change, then maybe just split or whatever. But you said if you don't believe in divorcing, you just decide. That could be another reason. And then the other reason, I just think they're just greedy guys. Like, the men just want to cheat legally.
But it's not cheating.
Obviously you were cheating, and you can't just come to today. You already know who you are going. You were dating that person already. Your eyes were busy wandering.
Let's put it this way.
Mm-hmm.
No, let's put it this way. You and I spoke about it. We agreed upon it. Is that cheating? Then I start searching. Is that cheating?
It's not, because I would be aware that one day, my husband is gonna come and say, "I'm ready for that second wife." right?
Exactly. So now, what do you think would be good enough reasons for you to agree to
None. There's no reason.
it? So you never agree to it. Either way, you just simply say no. I don't agree to it.
Yeah, like, you know what? Maybe if I'm sickly, or maybe I'm barren, God forbid. Well, not barren. Let's say you married me, and then I'm barren, baby, and then I'm like, you know what? Babe, I think it's best to get, but we could do surrogacy, or like it's best you get a second wife to give you kids, because now I can't give you kids.
I don't think. I think you like there's an adoption process.
Yeah, but some men are like,
They want their own kids. Yeah,
flesh,
no, I understand
not
that
one
part.
that
Yeah.
you're gonna, you know.
I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are like, I wouldn't say like good enough reasons for you. Like that's a situation which is forcing or pushing you into it. Because now, if you're saying that just wait for this young man to come out of the bathroom. Please close the door, boy. Move the towel. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Get a banana.
Okay, get your banana, please. We're talking hot topics here. Why are you sneaking in? Just walk properly, boy.
As a shirt, they cannot see.
Yeah, we'll chop you
that's
out.
fine. Let me help you. Don't worry about it. We'll make it happen. Bye. Please sit until we are done.
Okay?
Because we are talking serious topics here. Why do
I
you
don't
smell the
like-
spray from the toilet? Why do you smell like the spray from the toilet? Did you pour the thing on yourself?
No?
Oh, okay, bye.
Are you almost done?
No?
Okay.
Bye. Close the door.
Bye.
Bye. The joys of being a parent. Anyway, where were we again? I was still telling you, those are, according to me, those are like that's a situation which is pressing or forcing you into something like that. I'm not talking about like a situation where you can tell me that I couldn't give like him an heir, or I couldn't like bear kids for him, and then we had to take this route. Like that's not a good enough reason. That's what forced you into it. If I'm a billionaire, you're a happy wife, you're a business lady, you don't have time. I'm just giving you some assumption of good reasons from my side. Ne? I can afford to give you everything that you want. I give you whatever you need, but now you also have other commitments like taking care of your own business. You don't have really, like, your hands are full. It's meaning I'm traveling to Singapore, I need you to come with me, and you're telling me, look, I need to be in a seminar which is happening in the US. What do you then do? Instead of me going and meeting someone that you don't know, you'd rather have me go with someone that you know. Right? No, I'm just like giving you an example. Why are you looking at me like that?
Guys, not to me, there is no good enough reason
There should
for
be a
agreeing.
There
to
should be a good
such.
enough. Like, not something which is pressing or forcing you into it. If you're not happy about it, then you're forced into it. But if you are, sometimes the ladies might come and be the one to say, hey, Baba, I think you must marry a second wife.
I'm sure they're very brave women, big ups to you.
So, something like that. Sometimes we must not just simply say, hey, a guy is greedy, or a guy is trying to what.
Oh, you're out here defending your species.
No, I'm not trying to defend my gender. No,
You're
I'm not.
defending your gender.
No, I'm not. Like, I'm just getting like wait, like from both sides. Like I said already, sometimes ill-treating a lady can push them to what? To seek a way out. Okay?
I hear you.
And then sometimes ill-treating a guy can push them to what? Seeking a second person. Especially if they don't believe in what? Calling it quits and cutting you out and then starting afresh.
Okay.
So it's both ways. But what I'm saying is, we shouldn't look at it like, oh, this guy or that guy or this guy is rude or this guy is selfish or that guy wants to cheat legally or illegally. Their families and how they were brought up must tell you a story. You can't come to me and expect me to only marry you as my only wife when you know very well that my father, his father, and his father's father had like 6 wives. I'm gonna follow my dad's footsteps. I wanna follow my dad's footsteps.
You like that environment.
Exactly. If I could see my dad waking up in this house, tomorrow waking up in that one and whatnot, don't you think I'd want to do the same? Remember, a father figure is a role model to every boy child.
Yeah, I'm
he
so
raises.
grateful for my father-in-law, guys. I am, because I'm very grateful. May his soul rest in perfect blissful peace, because he told this nigga right here that don't you dare.
Let's talk about like, what if he was raised in a very nice polygamous marriage.
You think he would have also?
And then I think he was a man of like his own ways of doing things.
Like you.
Yeah, like he was raised in a very nice polygamous marriage.
Okay.
And then he decided to take that route.
You would. And
when I grew up, I saw him like treating his wives nicely, and they were all like enjoyed that. Don't you think, Corey, I'll be on the opposite today?
You would have married another 10.
No, I'm not disputing that. I'm saying, don't you think I'll be?
Yeah, obviously it would have influenced your whole lifestyle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, with those guys who are taking this route, maybe they grew up on the opposite of where I grew up. They grew up in that big family. Okay, my dad is happy with his wife number 1, 2, 3, 4, and I want to be like my dad when I grow up. Is there something wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. You looked at this guy, and in most of them, like my Kamuga is continuously one, so they say. Most of them, you know very well already. This guy, his family is like a polygamous family. His father's father and his father and his father's father's father, like great granddad. They had like so many wives. Chances are he's gonna take the same route.
Okay.
So when he decides, okay, now I'm taking this route, you as a lady, you knew very well when you were coming, you know. Pelala, king manawa wife number 5.
Yeah, when you know, like when you're entering knowing, then you can't really dispute when the time comes, right? But if you don't know, it just comes out of the blue.
So, since
no, but the way you are, guys, like the way this guy is defending this thing so much, I'm worried. Yes,
no.
I'm worried.
No, I'm not defending it. I'm trying to show you what some people are in it because they were raised in it, and
which I
they
totally
it.
understand.
And now they want it.
Good for them.
But nigga, you don't have to worry about me. Don't worry about me. Like, fire. So let's get back to the topic. So don't worry about me. This is not about me.
Check yourself.
Nigga, wait. You're distracting me. You're distracting me.
Okay, I'm listening to you.
This is about me and you. how do I put this? Like, look at it this way, Joe. Now we're not affair. We've been struggling together. Rivaka golf one.
Yeah.
From taxis, but the golf has always been there when I met you.
Yeah, but from taxis to golf to
Yes,
to where we are
to
now.
where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing I decided, okay, yeah, now I want to marry a second wife.
Because
When
now
was
when
I-
you are living this, I've polished you, ne? You are living a soft life. You
Hey,
want to see
It's not
yourself.
about the polish. Man. Leave the polish out of it.
It's about
We're talking
the
about,
polishing.
like, we're talking about the fact that now we are, like, you know, we can afford to, like, you know, we can afford to live this life that we are living today.
And then
And then now I come and say, I want a second wife. How would you feel about that?
I will say you run mad. You need to be admitted in a psychiatric hospital.
Okay. Back then when we were driving the golf or whatnot, what if there was someone who was there from the onset? and I
But we
told
were
you-
not married.
Yeah, but and I told you that there's someone who's online.
You told me, and there was someone.
Name and list.
So if you wanted it then, you could have made sure that the other person does not fall off the wagon, but they fell.
Wait. If I remember very well, I think the second time you and I shared a taxi, we had already spoke about like how we feel about each other and whatnot. Okay. And then in that taxi, I received a phone call. And when I received that phone call, I became somehow, and you were like, why are you being rude to Wanomo? And what was my response to you?
But we were not official.
We were not official, yes, but we were heading there. We were heading to, because now with me, I knew from the onset, and I made it clear with you. I didn't say I want you to be my friend. Did I ask you to be my friend? Or did I tell you from the onset, or say, Tom Dim, this is where I see us? Question. You asked me why am I being rude to Wanomo? And what did I say to you?
I don't remember. What did you say?
I told you this person is actually on the blink of being out the door, but she's still like pushing back and trying to make this thing which is not working work. Did I not tell you that?
Yes, you did.
So when you say, I'm trying to answer when you said there was someone was already out the door.
Okay.
So back to the initial topic. I think, baby, like on a serious note now, I think we must just learn to understand where people are coming with this before we can judge them or judge their situation. If I am that guy, or like I'm going to give an example. I'm from KZN and I was raised in a family where my mother is wife number 1 or number 5. I saw how my dad was treating his wives, and he was always happy. There was happiness in the big family that we had. All the siblings were getting along and we enjoyed ourselves. I think for me to come to you and say, I want to marry wife number 2, 3, 5, 10, it's a given. I mean, because that's how I was raised and that's how I was brought up in such an environment, and I saw it working. So when I come and say, I want to marry wife number mama, you as the lady, you know very well where I was raised and how I was raised. You should like support it. You should. Because you came in knowing. Or no, like for real. You came in knowing. There's no way you just wake up and say, lo muntu, sekafuna ukushada wife number 2. And all of a sudden, I've never heard of his family. You knew very well. You knew.
Okay, even if I knew that you come from such a situation, did you disclose then to me that just know, Hori, I'm also going to follow those footsteps?
Let me ask you a question first. Then you will answer yourself from this question. Who is your role model? Who is your role model?
I am my own role model.
No, don't try to be smart with me. Who is your role
My
model?
mommy.
Your mommy is your role model. Why?
Because of the kind of person she is. She's caring, she's loving, she's such a sweet woman.
She is very sweet, yes. And she's caring indeed and whatnot. If your mom was not present in your life, when you were brought up, would you sit here today and tell me that your mom is a role model?
Or maybe my stepmother, guess. No, I wouldn't, because
So, as much as you are sharing the same sentiments with your mom, she's a good role model to you because she was there and she did whatever. You didn't just wake up and say, hey, this woman is my role model. You saw how she was doing her own things, right? And then that made you to say, this is a role model for me. Same applies to this guy who is coming from somewhere out there, and then his dad is his role model. Don't you think he's gonna want to follow his dad's footsteps?
I hear all that, but at the same time, you still need to tell the person that you're with when you're still shelling, when you're still courting the person that, hey, my girl, please note. I get when we're getting to know each other, you're going to say, now I'm from such and such a family, hey, blah, 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 yada, 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 and then you're like, please note, Horena, I am for that team. I play for that team. So,
Babe,
you are in because...
you are missing my point.
So
no, you are. You are missing my point. Look at it this way. You are a Christian, right?
Yes.
You were brought up in a Christian family, right?
Yes.
That is why you are a Christian today. If you were brought up in a family where, like, you were doing different practices from Christianity, or you're going to be a Christian today, chances are
50-50, because I mean, as a person, when you grow up, you make your own choices, right?
exactly.
Yeah, so I'm sure down the line, maybe I could have found my way to Jesus, even though my family was practicing something else.
But you were brought up believing on what your family is practicing aside. You are missing my point. I grew up in a polygamous family, a very big family where we were always happy. There was no issues, there was no, you know what, Mamkulu was getting along with Mamngani,
Yes.
Mamngani was getting along with Mamkulu, and you know what, Mamkulu and Mamngani are best buddies. Like, you know, my dad is the happiest man alive. I want that for myself. I want to have a big family too. I want to have like Mamkulu and Mamngani being the happy wives to me. That's what I want.
Okay.
Because I was brought up in that environment. In your case, you are a Christian today because you were brought up in a family of Christians, right? You are doing things the way you're doing them because you saw how your mom was doing things and you liked how she was. Then she became your role model. So accept and understand that I'm also doing things the way I'm doing them because my dad was my role model. My dad was doing things the way he did them. So let's agree to disagree on this one, that a polygamous marriage is nice, it's fine for those who want it and who were brought up in it. And if you are a lady, you came in knowing, well, my dad has got 5 wives, and you knew very well that his dad had 5 wives, chances are, like you said, 50-50. I might be 50-50 on this. Looking at how things are going with me and you, and then I decided, okay, now I think it's time I started. It's not like, look at it this way. My dad had 1 wife.
No, okay.
I was raised in that one family. Right? You will talk, don't worry, I will give you a chance. I was raised in that one family, the 5 siblings. You'd never, not even once, hear me say, I want the second wife. Because I was brought up in that environment, my mother is the only queen.
Granted, right? I hear you.
So if it was the opposite, my mother and other queens were there. They were all queens to my father, who is the king. And then I decided, now I want to be a king amongst queens.
Yes, but you must tell your person.
Baby, I can't really tell. Like, look, we are dating, we're still young. But you can see, you can also see, well, okay, this person is from such a big family. Chances are, one day he might say, oh, I want to marry a second wife. When that day comes, you look back and you're like, but he was raised like this.
Okay,
This is the-
listen. We meet in varsity.
I listen how
Because you're disregarding my point.
I'm not disregarding. I said I will give you a chance.
So
Okay, talk.
we don't live in the same town or we meet in varsity.
Mhm.
I'm from Cape Town, you're from Durban,
Mhm.
KwaZulu Natal, where you marry 100
Okay, I'm
wives.
from Vidor, yeah, it's fine.
Right? When we meet there, maybe you came to University of Rhodes. We meet there. Obviously, I don't know what kind of a family you come from. I get we're dating. It's been a couple of years. Things are
Wait.
popping between us.
Pause. How long did it take you to know about my family? Did you know about my family when we were married or when we were still dating?
And we're still dating.
So chances are, even then, you would know about my family and the situation that I'm from one wife's.
Hence, I'm saying you be telling
Family
that person from the onset, worry. I'm from this kind of a family, and this is the route I'm gonna take. FYI, before we go deeper, just know what I'm from a polygamous marriage, and I'm gonna take a second wife. While we're still in varsity, while we're dating, you have to tell me. Honey, when are you gonna tell? When do you disclose that? You're not gonna disclose until we're in the marriage.
I know you're missing my point.
You're also missing my point.
I'm not missing anything. I'm hearing what you're saying. But like you and I, when we started dating, did you ever sit down with me and ask me, will you ever at some point want to marry a second wife?
No.
Why? Yeah, why?
No, but right now we're talking about the fact that you grew up from a polygamous setup, and then couple what they do is the women, like, I would assume they tell them beforehand, or my father had 5 wives and then Lina, I like that kind of a setup, so it means if we're gonna get married, I also want to get other wives. You must tell me before I commit.
If I tell you before, then which means I'm gonna date, have this girlfriend, she would run away from that, have this girlfriend, she would run away from that, have this girlfriend, she would run away from that.
Also, you will not, you keep it a secret.
No, we don't keep it as, you don't keep it a secret. Like, this is how I think it goes. I might be wrong, I stand to be corrected. The only time you're being told is when things are becoming serious between you and the person. You and I started off by dating, right? When things became serious, you started knowing, whilst we're still dating, about my family and what's happening.
Okay.
Before we got married.
Yes, okay.
If I marry you and then after marrying you, 2 years down the line, I come to you and say, sorry, I want to marry a second wife. You don't know anything about my family, by the way. You don't know the background that I came from and how I was brought up and whatnot. You're going to have a problem with that. But if I married you, whilst, okay, let's say I dated you, and then you got to know the family and the background that I came from, right? Before I even say what I want to marry a second wife, you know this guy, chances are he is going to marry a second wife or a third wife. And again, when we are in malls or shopping center or you can see
this guy. You know, like, you're not being, I feel like you're not being fair. Like, what you're saying is not fair.
You can see that this guy.
No, you have
listen,
to tell.
listen.
You can't not tell, because when you're afraid of, okay, if I tell her now she'll run off, then I must get another girlfriend, she'll run off. No. Why, if we're gonna date for 3 years, we are
dating.
No, but I mean, some relationships take forever. Let's
yeah,
say we are dating
yeah.
for 3 years. Obviously, in the time now, maybe I've met some of your siblings, and then you have, at that point, you have to tell me that happened like in Nangwanawa, the 5th wife, and my father has how many wives.
Okay.
And FYI, I actually want to follow in my father's footsteps. Like, I have to know before you actually send a letter to my parents.
I think you must understand. Letter to your parents.
Yeah, let's say you want to marry me, yeah.
I think we are different beings, and being different beings makes us very different. Not just different, but very different. Obviously, there's someone who are like, I'm not really so much into tradition, There's someone who are like, they are like so much into tradition, and they believe or if I do it, I must do them like Cassito. Like, you know.
Yes.
And what does that say? Would the person like that come to you and say, beforehand, you must know I'm gonna marry you. After marrying you, I'm gonna marry another one and marry another one? Or would that person say, look, I will only tell her when the time is right. And when is that? When you are already in. Because there's no going out. Baby, look at it
That
this way.
this is witchcraft.
It's not.
It's witchcraft.
It's not.
How? What?
It's not.
No.
Sometimes
Imagine now if I tell you, Lena, maybe we do traditional things in my family, and then they say maybe the firstborn child, they do something to the child, like in my side of the family, and then I don't tell you this thing until we are in, and then I'm like, yeah, by the way, just know that we have to cut a toe of the child in the marriage.
It can't happen like that. Okay, let's say you are the husband, I'm the wife. You tell me already, you're gonna have to cut my child's toe. We have a problem. we have a
Case
problem.
closed.
No, listen.
No.
We have a problem.
We have a problem, yes, because I was supposed to tell you.
No, listen. We have a problem. You know what's the problem? Because you are telling me something that I am not agreeing to. Then we have a problem. Even if you came to me and said, look, you're the husband, I'm the wife. You come to me and say, I want to marry a second wife. We still have a problem because you're telling me something that if I don't want or I don't agree to it, I don't.
Okay.
So now you see where we are going with this. My point of saying to you, it doesn't matter whether I tell you today or tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
The matter of the fact is, you must look at how. If like for instance, you are telling me this toe story. If I saw your toe was gone, and I asked you, and you're like, oh, this is what they do to us, the firstborn Sago. And you are the husband, I'm the wife. As a firstborn, they cut off my toe. And then I'm gonna ask you, so does this mean that our firstborn's toe is gonna be? And then you are like, yes. Before we had kids, who would sit and say, yes, let my child come, and then they cut off their toe?
Exactly.
So I would, right?
Yeah.
Immediately after, the other one comes.
Mm-hmm.
Toe. No. So you
Okay,
have to,
so
like,
you must
be
keep it
diplomatic.
Guys, like, please comment. I really don't agree with this. I do not.
So
and
guys,
I think this topic is like, when
it's beyond us. If you are in the polygamy marriage and you are considering it and you have your own reasons to consider such,
what a wow.
it's nice and we support you. And if you are not in a polygamy marriage like us, you are in an environment where it's just the two of you and it's nice, we still support you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, big ups to both of y'all.
Yeah, we're really not discriminating.
We're not discriminating, we're not against it, but
something that I'm wouldn't do. I
then
would
you'll
say
never
no.
know. You'll never know.
I'm very worried.
My nigga.
Betunana.
You will never know, eh? You might be the one to come and say, hey, baby, maybe another wife. My nigga, I think you must marry another wife.
For what reason?
I don't know what your reasons will be. You tell me. You tell me. But sometimes, like on a serious note, it's all about like being happy and whatnot. If you're not happy, you're not. If you are happy, you are happy. You are happy being the only queen, it's fine. The other one is happy being queen number 1 and there must be number 2 and the following other queens. So let's just respect people's situations and their decisions and support them on that.
Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you for watching, guys. It's been real, it's been nice, and I don't think this ends here. We still have to discuss it further. Eh?
Yeah.
No, Manika, don't worry about me. Me, I'm fine. Me.
I don't believe in
Hey, don't leave me hanging now.
I don't believe this guy. I don't trust you.
You don't trust me?
The way you are.
No, I'm trying to like give you the situation the other guys are going through, and maybe their reasons of like deciding the way they did. I don't think someone would just wake up and say, I'm the first one in my family, I want to have a second wife. So we'll never end, this topic will never end.
Let it end here. Final decision is that we're happy for those that go into polygamous marriage, and we pray that it's a healthy one, it's a happy one. You know, there's no between the two families and whatnot. Like, you know, just respecting each other, loving each other. Because the man just got a lot of love to give.
Exactly, yeah. So and if the pocket agrees.
If the pocket agrees. Right now yours is not agreeing.
My pocket will never agree.
It's agreeing to me alone.
Even if I'm a billionaire, my pocket will never agree.
Yay! Yeah, so those were our thoughts. Unfortunately, it seems it's not hot this side, hot this side. Yes.
I told you. I'm not agreeing to it for myself.
Okay.
But for the other guys who are doing it, I am assuming maybe we must find someone who is doing it, and then they can give us like the accurate reasons of why. But I know growing the family is we both agree on that.
Yeah, that one definitely.
So if I want to grow my family, then it's fine for me. I think we are both agreeing on the fact that
it's a
reason valid enough
for those people.
Hi guys, this will never end. Let's just close the video.
I think you're gonna sleep on the couch. Thank you for watching. It's been real. It's been
Yeah, no guys, thank you for watching. It's been nice, it's been real, it's been juicy, it's been like interesting, and we are still going to discuss this after this.
Peace. Until the next episode.
Until we sleep on the couch. Marmaniga, let's discuss this thing. Yeah, Tima, like when